On the Bio 211 laboratory page, there is a file containing 3 plates with the muscles that you are responsible for in the laboratory. This is the first of those 3 plates here in miniature. You'll notice that the muscles around the figure are sometimes boxed in black boxes, and some of them have gray boxes. Okay, and if you look over here, here are some of the black boxes, and over here we have some of the gray boxes in comparison. So what's the difference between those two? Well, you'll notice that the black boxes over on the right side of the image are all associated with an individual box nearby. So the black boxes all have the information that you're required to know, which is basically the action, the origin, the insertion. Whereas in the case of the gray boxes, on the left side in this particular image over here, the gray boxes really don't have any information. And the reason for that is very simple. I didn't have enough room to put all of this on one page without requiring you to have a magnifying glass. So consequently, if you look here, we have the exact same image in page 1, or this particular plate, and if I switch over to plate 2, it's the exact same view, except it's in a different position in the plate to allow for the gray boxes to have information, as you can see over here. And of course I turn them black at that particular point. Regardless of what color, if it's confusing to you, the bottom line is that any muscle that has a box around it is one that you are responsible for. And again, there are 3 pages altogether. If I start to magnify this a little bit so we can get a better view of what's inside those boxes, let me go to plate number 2. And we'll go over here. You'll notice that I can make it a little bit larger actually. Okay, there we go. You'll notice that there are what are referred to as origins and insertions in these boxes of information. For example, over here, the word origin and insertion, there we go. What are these two things? Well, the origin is that part of a muscle that is attached in a relatively immobile or immovable area, whereas the insertion is the area of a muscle. In other words, there is some polarity to it, or a differentness, sidedness. The insertion is that area of the muscle that attaches to something that will move. It is quite movable, and obviously the connection between the bone and the muscle in either case is by way of a tendon. This is a chart that contains, well, it's an interactive chart that has groups of muscles that are color-coded. If you select any one of these groups, pink, yellow, whatever, all of those muscles within that group will appear in a short video with the appropriate information in detail, as you'll see now. Incidentally, anytime you're watching a video of the cadaver muscle dissection, you'll notice that on the right side of the screen while it's playing, the information regarding the origin, insertion, action will be visible. So you can take advantage of that.
The next step is to reflect the external and internal and transversus abdominis muscles. And the best way to do that is to initially start by finding the upper margin of the external oblique, which is right here. The fibers are oriented in this direction, coming towards the midline, and we're going to cut these fibers as we see them end in their tendons right here, from about here down to the level of the umbilicus. So I've inserted a pair of scissors on the undersurface of this muscle so that it will guide my cut as I come down.
And after you've looked at the dissection videos that we just saw, you might want to go to one of my favorite sites. It's developed by a professor at Gateway Community College in Arizona. It allows you to basically look at the various views of a SUMSO model, as you see the 4 here in the center or the lower part of the page. And if you click on the second one, let me give you a demonstration of how this works. What's particularly nice about this site, the way it's arranged, is that it really addresses one of the main issues and the problems that students find when they study anatomical parts, namely, where does one part begin and the other one end? And this clearly shows you the boundary of the muscles as you go over the actual SUMSO model. On the left you see a rough approximation as to the actual boundaries of that particular muscle, which is very, very nice. Also, when you click on the muscle over here, the actual name of that muscle appears in a little box, as you can see over here. And let me just click on another one over here. There you go. That's really quite neat. And you'll see that there are many different locations for this, of different views of this particular SumSum model if you scroll down on the page. It's quite nice.